Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to the very first episode of Vanguard In Depth. In today's video, we're going to be covering the Type 100 SMG, and I wanted to announce that I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently on In Depth this year compared to previous years. Most notably, not every single weapon is going to be covered in a full big video like this one. Some of the less popular or less competitive weapons that aren't as deserving of our attention will be covered primarily in shorts. We'll just hit the stats super fast and save the big reviews for weapons that I think are good or ones that you should definitely focus on. I also want to give a huge shout out to Exclusive Ace for providing the gun stats in my time of need. Exclusive Ace provided me with all of the stats for this video. He basically gave me access to all of the testing that he's already done, which is voluminous to say the least. I am not healthy enough to do a lot of things right now, including testing for gun stats. Even if I wanted to, I just couldn't. So for the first time in 10 years or so, I'm going to be relying on Exclusive Ace for the stats. And I just wanted to give a huge shout out to him. I wanted to say thank you for being kind and considerate. You literally gave one of your competitors your bread and butter that you worked hard to earn, which I almost couldn't believe. But he did, so God bless him. I linked Exclusive Ace down below, and his analysis is always worth following. So today's very first episode is coming out on Black Friday because I do have a sponsor laid out. I have a really violent, crazy sponsor segment that I can't believe got approved, so we're going to run that really quick and then hop into the episode. And today's sponsor is Gamer Advantage glasses. These are the little clear glasses you see me wearing a ton of streams and videos and stuff here on YouTube. And not only are they great for protecting your eyes, but they actually manage to save my wife's eyes from perhaps not existing. So I'm going to show you a dramatic reenactment of what just happened and then what really happened thanks to the glasses.
Oh. What you just witnessed was based on true events. Gamer Advantage glasses saved my eyes, and they can save yours too from harsh blue light from overuse on your computer.
So seriously, thank you, Gamer Advantage. You help prevent my wife getting a needle in her eyes. I wear these all the time to protect blue light, and their Black Friday sale is absurdly good. It's 15% off the whole store, another 10 if you use code Drifter, which is 25% off, and the glasses you saw in the video are starting at 60 bucks, which is like, I don't know, it's like starts at like 30 or 40% off. They are just doing a huge discount. So if you wanted to pick up some Gamer Advantage glasses and protect your eyes, they're probably never gonna get any cheaper than right now. All right, wow, that was a lot of stuff to do in the beginning of the first episode. Now we can actually get to the stats, which is what you're here for. So the Type 100 is my favorite SMG because of its ease of use. It's just a very simple weapon to use and get kills with, even though its stats are looking kind of rough. The Type 100 base damage profile with no barrels, ammo types, vital, or any of that kind of stuff, it'll deal 24 damage up close, 18 damage in medium range combat, and then finally its minimum damage is 17. What that means is that it is either a 5 or 6 shot to kill weapon without headshots, so pretty much any distance you're shooting at people with this gun, it can feel kind of like a hit marker machine. However, importantly, if you use Vital and all the little attachments that boost the headshots and stuff that we're going to talk about, so you get those big, beefy bonus headshot damages on other body parts that can kill very fast, and the Type 100 Vital damage is 35 up close, 28 at medium range, and then 24 at longest ranges, shaving multiple shots to kill. That makes it a 3-shot kill weapon. That is 2 less shots to kill, which is very impressive in my opinion. And when you're running Vital and the barrel that provides the bonus headshot damage and all that, the weapon kills much faster, and that's how I'm going to recommend you run it later on in this episode. In most cases, you're only going to need +1 Vital shots to get the faster time to kill. That's cases under 38 meters. The Type 100's rate of fire is 750 rounds per minute, which is a very average, very normal rate of fire, not just for Call of Duty, but for really like any shooting game. That's just a very normal number you would see. It's neither fast nor slow. And if you want to combine the rate of fire with the time to kill, its base time to kill is 320 milliseconds. And its vital time to kill potential, if you've got all those attachments stacked on there, is significantly faster at 240 milliseconds. Overall, these are pretty fast time to kills for any other Call of Duty game, but in Call of Duty Vanguard, this is by far the slowest time to kill in the SMG class, even compared to other SMGs that are using Vital. This is a very slow time to kill weapon, which should be a little bit surprising because I typically don't like or recommend those weapons, but I am going to be recommending this one today, even though its lethality will leave you behind almost everybody else. It does have very good range for an SMG. The maximum damage range is up to 20 meters, which is very nice. The medium damage range is from 20 to 38, which is probably about as far away as you really want to use this weapon. And then anything over 38 meters, you'll be kind of in your minimum damage range. I don't think this is the longest range SMG, but it's near to the very top. In terms of handling stats, this little weapon can't quite make up its mind. Its aim down sights time is 240 milliseconds, which is by far the slowest in the SMG class. It doesn't seem very fun in that regard, but the sprint out time is 167 milliseconds, which is pretty fast for the SMG class. So it sprints out to hip fire and begins firing very quickly, but its overall transition into aiming down sights and firing accurately is kind of somewhat slow. But its transition into aiming down sights and firing accuracy is very slow for an SMG. It's honestly wouldn't be particularly fast for an assault rifle either. There's nothing exceptionally fast or slow about the Type 100's movement speed. Either it's walking, it's sprinting, strafing, all of that is very sort of middle of the pack for some machine guns, of which will of course be faster than assault rifles and LMGs, but nothing really special to write home about. The bullet velocity is 353 meters per second, and that is identical across all SMGs in the class as far as I'm aware, so it's not really better or worse than any of the other SMGs. The bullet velocity is a little bit less than half of that of the assault rifle, so do keep that in mind. You will have to lead your shots at very long ranges, and there's a bunch of attachments that can boost this if you really hate it for whatever reason. The reload time on the Type 100, the add reload, or which is kind of the reload cancel time, how long it takes before the bullets magically pop in your gun, is 1.67 seconds. The Annie, which is going to be the animation this year if you go through the full thing, is 2.8 seconds. So I almost always recommend doing the sprint cancel or YY cancel or something like that to reduce your overall reload time. Of note, this is kind of slow for SMGs. Now, it's not radically slow. I think it's between 200 and 400 milliseconds slower than the other SMGs, but it is a little bit slow on that regard too, so not very good and not very competitive. And I've said that a lot throughout this episode. You've probably noticed that the Type 100 is disadvantaged at almost everything except it has super low recoil, and it's ridiculously easy to use. I mean, I can't remember the last time Call of Duty had an SMG that had recoil quite as naturally low as the Type 100. It almost makes me feel like I'm playing Overwatch or like CSGO or something, where you don't need, where the bullets just come out straight constantly, like a underbaked FPS, and they forgot to program the recoil into it. It is very low, and because of that, it's incredibly easy to use. It's incredibly easy to master. It's very fun. So on the topic of recoil, it has very low horizontal recoil and a fast center speed. Its overall vertical kick per shot is kind of in line with the other submachine guns, but it recenters very fast, so it won't feel quite as vertically kicking, and it's not going to bounce side to side very much at all, which that's really what you want to avoid. Horizontal recoil is the most problematic thing for any weapon. And this just makes it incredibly predictable, easy to master. I know exactly how many shots it's going to take to kill the enemies. I know my weapon's got low recoil. I know my shots are going to hit. I know a lot of things about my fights. So even if my raw lethality potential is a little bit on the slow side of things, it doesn't matter if I'm able to kind of understand how my gunfights should go with the Type 100 like 90% of the time. That predictability kind of is its key. And I will say that even with a lower time to kill than the other SMGs, I prefer using this particular SMG more than the others to challenge assault rifle users at longer ranges, only because of the overall accuracy. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hit marker machine, but at least I'm going to get those hits instead of missing wildly all over the place. And I think that the Type 100 is going to be the best weapon for a lot of new and casual players. If you're playing Call of Duty Vanguard casually because you have to go to school or you have a real job and you can't no life at 8 hours a day and pretend, you know, you're a CDL pro or something like that, the Type 100 is going to be your friend. That's why it's been my friend, because I've been able to play less this year than other years due to problems, but just being able to bounce back on and get my games in with a very reliable gun is quite fun. And I do want to say before we jump into the recommended build that the most important part of this build, and really the most important attachments that you can put on your weapon, is the barrel that increases your headshot damage, and then vital so that you get that damage over other parts of the body. And then you want to use the accuracy of the weapon to mostly go for like chest and headshots, and just kind of, you know, you want to keep it up high, and it's going to kill people way faster. Man, class builds are going to be crazy for this year in depth, but at the end of the day, this is kind of the Type 100 that I settled on. It's a very basic one, but with some bonuses to vital and the headshots. First things first, I went with the Mercury silencer. It gives me sound suppression, a little bit of recoil control. It does hurt the damage range a little bit, but it doesn't hurt it. I mean, it's already a great damage range, so it's not going to hurt it very much, and it just has less downsides than all of the other suppressors. I just love suppressors, so I'm going to be recommending them a lot. For the underbarrel, I went with the Mark 6 Skeletal. It just gives me a little bit faster aim down sight speed, which is one of the weaknesses of this particular weapon, so any boost there is good. No downsides to it, it's pure bonus. There's nothing else more complicated I have to worry about. Very importantly, I went with the Shirashi Precision Barrel so that I get increased headshot damage. That increases my lethality significantly, and it helps with the accuracy just a little bit. I do have some downsides in terms of body damage and sprint to fire, damage range, a lot of that. But what I'm really doing is aiming for that upper chest and head with this build to kill people more quickly, and that's just kind of worth its weight in gold. When it comes to ammo, I go with the .30 Russian 30 round mags, more so just so that I have slightly bigger mags and less so for any of the bonuses that this particular type of ammo is going to give me. I just really enjoy having a kind of a medium magazine on this one instead of kind of a small one. Next up, under ammo type, I'm running lengthened in most of the gameplay here. It just gives me additional bullet velocity, which means if I'm going to use this at long range, it's going to work a little bit better. The slate reflector has to be among the best optics in the game, especially for SMGs. It's just so simple, so clean, so hard to beat. It's basically a red dot sight. Much like the barrels, I went with the leather grip here. It just gives me a little bit faster aim down sight speed again with no downsides. Thank God, I'm generally avoiding downsides this year. Moving along to the stock, it's more of the same. I went with the very first stock, the skeletal one. I get a little boost to my sprint to fire speed and a little bit more movement speed, though I do lose some initial accuracy and recoil. Thankfully, the weapon is accurate enough to where that's not such a big problem, but you can change that if it does become a problem for you. Very importantly, you want to run vital so you can get more of those critical hits and lower your time to kill when you're going with headshots with this weapon. And then of all of the different kits, I'm just running quick. I like to sprint around and reposition a little bit faster. It's simple, it works, and nothing else really gives me a huge advantage with the Type 100. So using this class, I have effectively built a weapon that has very slightly less effective range. It's got much higher lethality than the base Type 100 as long as you're going for head and upper neck shots and stuff like that. And recoil is more or less unchanged, and it's a little bit snappier, not tremendously, but a little bit snappier on its aim down sights time, which makes it a little bit nicer for close quarters combat. Guys, that is all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful, and if you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.